I did it again. I fell asleep and I did not do a vlog. So I'm doing it this morning. Why'd you wake us up so early?
Yeah, you could have got busy and done it last night.
Listen, I had a bad headache. So I took my meds, and I fell asleep. I did not wake back up to do one. So I'm doing it this morning. So, wake up. I had to. I swear I'm not. That was not fair. Anyway, hello. For those of you who are new, or even not, I am Glenda.
I'm Buster. I'm Rosie.
With AKA GK Fralin,
A friendly community.
and our friendly community welcomes you. And we do welcome you anytime of day. Today is mine and my husband's anniversary. Yes, Sweet Joe and I have been married 42 years.
What? Really?
No wonder you didn't do much last night. Well, no, today's our anniversary. Well, still. That's why he's been home all this time? Well, yeah, he took some days off for our anniversary.
He really is a sweet Joe. Tell us the story.
Well, I'll tell you all the story, but I'll have to wait for a bit.
Okay.
Long, long ago, 1976, I had some friends. I had several friends, and most of us worked together, or I was associated with them from people I worked together, or through people I worked together. And they wanted me to meet this guy. They said, oh, he's really nice, but he's shy. And he's a little younger than you, but not too much. Okay. As blind dates go, I said no. My very first date, I was 15. I was set up, it was a blind date. And I was told, he's a little younger than you. He was 13. And everything was chaperoned, of course. And at 15, a 13-year-old, that's pretty significantly younger. Although I wouldn't say he was shy. But he did have to be. I mean, we all had to be chaperoned everywhere. Okay, so thus, my first invitation to meet Joe was no. Oh my goodness. They nagged. Finally, I said, okay, we can all gather at my house, because I was renting a small little house. For those of you who live in more expensive places, in little small town Nebraska where we live, rent at that time, I think I was paying $65 a month. Now it'd be probably more like $450, but You can still get houses that are fairly nice that would cost $100,000 somewhere else for more like $20,000 to $40,000 a year. Okay, backing up. I don't know why that became important, but let's just say I was not real well off. I had been married before, although very young, and I had children, and I just did not think that guys would be interested in somebody with children. Most of them weren't. In fact, my friends had tried to set me up before with a few other guys, and they were all losers. I did not want anything to do with them. Thank goodness those I didn't actually go out with. That was another, okay, we'll meet you in the presence of others. So anyway, the night they introduced him to me, I was just fine the day when he walked in. When they all walked in, I was just fine. And this was back in the days. Oh, I am very ashamed, but I was very young, and I used to drink, and I used to drink a lot of alcohol. So kids, don't drink. Don't even find out if you can drink that much. It was awful. Anyway. And that night I got very drunk. He was cute. And actually he was only a year younger. He was very cute. And I ended up spending most of the time being drunk and acting out. Because I was a little shy too. So when I get drunk, I get a little, especially if I was trying to impress somebody, I just plain act out. I arm wrestled one of the guys, just stupid stuff. Anyway. But for some reason, he asked me out again. When I asked him later why, he said, well, you look like you'd be fun. Yeah, I suppose I did. But I'm amazed he did. Probably only because I was so drunk. Anyway, the first 3 dates when we went out, he barely talked to me. He was so shy that when he talked to me, he sounded mad.
Where do you want to go?
You're taking me out. Yeah, I'm taking you out. Where do you want to go? Well, there's a nice little carnival in that one, at that one store. They're doing a promotion. Okay, we'll go there. After about 3 dates, we were over at his brother's, who was one of them that introduced us. And here I just found out very recently that the reason he met me was that his brother wrote my name on the bottom of his shoe and said, this is somebody you need to meet. Anyway, I don't know what kind of description they gave him of me. I don't know if I want to know. So, well, I suppose by now it don't matter. But I'm trying to dramatize this story, but not overly much. Anyway, this is all true, by the way. I was 20, he was 19. We met in July. No. We met in April or May. You know, memory fades over years. August, July, June, May. I think it was the beginning of May. The end of April or the beginning of May. What broke the ice? I finally thought, okay, if this guy is really this mad at me all the time and does not want to go out with me, I'm going to find out why. And we were at his brother's house, so I figured, well, at least he'll have to give me an answer. Oh, he did. He does not tolerate interruption very well, and I am terrible at interrupting people. And with his brother, he, of course, was not shy at all. And they were just talking away, cars and all that kind of stuff. And I have been talking to his sister-in-law, and I just don't know what's going on with him. And I said, I gotta find out. So I went in there and I said, if you are angry with me, because I'd ask him several times, I think I ask him every day. I said, if you're mad at me, I'd really like to know why. I'm not mad at you, but if you keep asking me, I am going to be. Oh, the tears came down. I was crying and crying. So his sister-in-law went in there and gave him a little piece of her mind, and that was not one he would cross. Not very many people crossed her. Anyway, things did calm down, and it broke the ice. And I found out what he actually enjoyed doing, going to the races, where he'd get in the pit crew with his brothers. Brother was a racer. And so then we would sit in the stands and watch. That was only on the Saturday night. So, but he worked with a bridge crew. They were making concrete bridges. And he was the guy who would get out on the, whatever they call it. They called it a leadsman or whatever. But he would be the one dangling in the midair. In, like out over whatever ravine or river it was. He'd had a harness, but anyway. Now the daredevil I was, that wouldn't usually bother me if it was me doing it. But after a while of getting to know him, of course I thought, wow, that's cool, but the other part of me was like, wow, that's dangerous. Anyway, but it took him away all week long. They worked like all over Iowa, Nebraska, Kansas, all kinds of places. And they were generally gone a week at a time. And so Friday evening, Saturday, maybe a touch of Sunday, and he was gone. Depending on how far they had to go. He worked with, it was a whole crew. But his stepfather was the one who got him the job. And he worked with him. And so they had this little kind of camper trailer thing. It was actually a trailer, but it was one that was small enough they could haul it anywhere they went. And so that's what they did. Anyway, we got to the point where, and this is where I've always kind of wondered, who asked who? We'd been to a friend's, and all these friends tended to just fight. Terribly bad. Over silly things. She was one of my best friends. He was one of Joe's best friends, or became one of Joe's best friends. But together, they just fought. Anyway, we came home, back to my house one night, and Joe says, if we ever get married, please tell me we won't act like that. Jokingly, I looked at him and I said, what do you mean if? We hadn't been married, we hadn't only been dating for like a couple of months. He came back the next weekend. He says, well, I told Mom. You told your mom what? That we're getting married. She wants to date. Oh. Actually, See, I thought, I wouldn't mind marrying this guy. I said, are you sure this is what you want? I mean, it comes with a whole package here. I don't mind. I mean, actually, he did treat the kids pretty good. So, we started planning a wedding. Now, this is where we actually did do some arguing, not like what these others did, because, I mean, they downright dirty argued and fought. But I didn't have much for money. My parents, well, sweet as the day is long, but they'd already forked out for one marriage. Yes, I was divorced from my first. Anyway, so I realize this is going out all public ears, but anyway, August 21st, 1976, I walked down the aisle in a very cute eyelet lace tea-length dress with, and I loved pastels, so it had little pastel flowers and stuff all over it. And our candles, our decorations, we had just some store-bought candles in some candle holders along the railings at the church on either side of the stage. And I had this floppy, really floppy hat. I did buy a bouquet from a flower shop, and it was on a Bible. I'm going too long. Well, it might be a long vlog. Anyway, our flowers. This was the amazing thing, because a friend of mine, an older friend from a lady I knew from church, she had told me that she would help me with the reception and decorating for the wedding. My mother lived a state away, couldn't be there all the time, and had several other kids she was still raising. So anyway, I put an ad in the paper because it was August and some still had flowers growing. And I asked if anybody had garden flowers that they would like to donate to a wedding. Oh, did we get calls? Everybody thought that was the most wonderful idea they'd ever heard. So we went out and we picked, in a couple of gardens, we picked zinnias and just some of the prettiest flowers of those days, and made a couple or so bouquets. It was the sweetest wedding. And it's now history. So there you go. It's 42 years later, and we're still going strong. And that's the story of Joe and Glenda Fralin. So far, that was just the meeting. So, yeah, it'll probably be a little bit of a long vlog, but I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, guys, it was a long one, so let's hurry up and wrap it up, okay?
Bye.
Good night, good night,
Don't let the bugs bite.
good night, good night. Sleep till daylight, good night, good night.
Be kind to each other.
Good night, good night. Tell someone you love them. Oh, and please do. Love is a very important thing. So please do tell someone you love them. Good night. Actually, good day. Bye.